going to ask you some tough questions.
That's what it is.
Buddy,
Way to soften me up. All right, guys, injuries. Mar's still in the protocol, won't practice today. And Zacha, groin won't practice. Tart, Stinger, K1, knee, and Staley, just a vet day. All those guys won't be practicing. Limited today is Malcolm, same thing, Achilles, Breida, ankle, Richburg, knee, and Tomlinson, hip. Go ahead.
How you look $25,000 lighter up there today. Have you talked at all to the NFL about what you would expect as a coach to be the protocol when a situation like what occurred in Seattle occurs again?
Yes.
And?
What I would like?
Yeah.
For them to just common sense to prevail and allow the guy to get his shoe that was thrown and stop it.
Keep the shoe, stay on the field, or allow for
or give us
substitution?
time for sub. Yeah. Just, I don't know, there's not a rule for it, and that's what they said. I don't know if I can say what they said. I'm not trying to lose any more money. But I'd like something to be done about it, and I think they will next time.
Do you have the right to appeal, or will you appeal, or
Yes, I
have you
will.
appealed?
Yeah.
All of the above?
Yes. Yeah.
When will there be a hearing set for that?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I just said I'd appeal, and so I think they'll tell me when. Hopefully we can do it talking instead of writing a letter. I'm not as good at that type of stuff.
Is there something that a player can do? I mean, would it have made sense for Warner to sit down on the field and put the shoe on just to make it obvious that he was?
They told us there was nothing the player could do, so that's what I told Fred. Next time, just make it more obvious. We're going to get the penalty in anyway, so hopefully sit down and make it as obvious as you can, and hopefully then common sense will prevail.
Facing a team 2 times in 3 weeks, does it make it easier, harder?
Both, but also just especially the two teams and the style that we play with. I mean, there's no secrets. We both know each other's scheme. We played each other, I think, 10 days ago. We both have watched the Monday night game that happened to see what's different, and nothing's different. Both teams do the same thing, and they're going to. So I think both teams know what to expect, and I think that makes it a little bit more fun.
Pete said one of the things that you do well as an offensive designer and play caller is adapt to a quarterback's skill set, and he said you've done that well with Nick. How is that? What has that process been like for you, just given that it happened mid-season and things like that?
It's kind of the same as it always is. You don't change. I haven't changed quarterbacks a lot mid-season, but it's even with the same when you use the same quarterback. You always try to go with their skill set, but their skill set isn't always the same week in and week out. It depends what kind of coverages and things you're going against. So you always want to do what they do best, but based off what the defense has given you. So you try to not put them in too tough of situations that's out of their comfort zone, but sometimes based off the looks you have to on a number of plays, but you just try to make things as easy as possible.
And he seemingly went undrafted, maybe because of physical tools that he might not have, but did you get a sense that mentally, with his processing and things like that, when you were evaluating him, that he could possibly be in this position that he's in right now?
Oh yeah, we thought that's what gave him the best chance. You have to have a certain amount of talent to play in the NFL, and some guys have more than others. But the people who play quarterback in this league for consistently and hang around, it's you have to have the requirement to get into the club. But it's how you play the position, which it's really tough for people just to see. You got to know what they're being asked to do, the progressions they're going through, what type of coverages there are, how good their team is, how good their protections are, their skill positions. You can judge a quarterback, but then a lot of it has to do with defense too. I mean, just situations you put them in, and that's why it's always tough to go off wins, losses, stats, anything. There's so many variables that go into it, but quarterback's one of the hardest things because you do need a skill set to play in this league. But that's why I think people are all over the place with how they get them, because you really truly don't know how a guy is from processing standpoint, because it's not an IQ test. It's not just the smartest guys aren't the best guys always, and it's just a feel and reaction thing to how you are in the pocket. And I've never been around anyone who can be good at that stuff if they don't prepare more than the majority of humans. And Nick definitely does that, but just working hard at it. I mean, I don't care how hard I work. There's no way I was doing it. So it's not just about working hard. He's got enough to be successful, and he's as detailed and deliberate in everything he does.
Statistically, and I guess based on the amateur eye test, he's been better than Beathard this year. You know, you said they're going to be even going into the offseason for whatever that's worth. But why isn't he? You know, why don't you say, well, he might be better? Why? You know, why doesn't he have the edge as you look to the future?
Just going through, you know, it starts coming out of how they were in college, who the ceiling, and who you think has the most ability. Then it goes to practice each day, some of the throws and the plays that people make. You know, that's where CJ was ahead of him and beat him out. Nick got his opportunity because of injury. He's been very consistent in games. He's played very well, and that's why he hasn't lost it. I'm glad that he's made this hard on us. That's the goal. You know, CJ made it a little bit easier throughout the process of competing in practice and making some of the plays that he did. That's why he got all those opportunities. And now that Nick's gotten it, he has shown that. He's gotten better each game. He's played very consistent, and I'm very excited that it's not an easy decision anymore.
As you've no doubt seen through the years, you know, the guy that gets drafted has, you know, for a variety of reasons might get the benefit of the doubt in those situations just because, hey, we didn't expect this guy to be any good. Does that, I assume that has nothing to do with how you're going to look at that position in the future?
I mean, I think you should look at everything we've done. I mean, we drafted a running back in the 4th round, and we played an undrafted guy over him the whole year, and then let him go the next year. I think we've done that. I mean, Solomon hasn't played the whole year. There's times we put Sheldon above him, things like that. So all you got to do is look at our track record. You know, we do what we think's right, and a lot of things go into that.
Were Mullens' perceived physical limitations the main reason he wasn't on most teams' draft boards?
You'd have to ask them. You know.
What about, I mean, was he on your draft board, and if not, was it because he was a little bit shorter or his arm wasn't as perceived as being as strong at the time?
We didn't think that he was going to get drafted. Okay. And when you don't think someone's going to get drafted, then you don't think you need to draft him, which makes it nice. You know, we liked him. I didn't know much about him right away. You know, our personnel guys brought him to Rich Scangarillo, and Rich liked him a lot. Just he liked him on tape, and then going through the process, he got a feel for his mentality and the kind of the extra things that you guys are talking about that you can't really see on tape. And that's why he targeted him early. You know, I love the tape. Didn't get to spend a lot of time with him, but definitely liked him when we brought him in here for his 30-30 visit, which kind of matched the feeling we had on him. And when it's like that, you know, like I said, we felt the same way about Breida. You know, we liked him a lot. Didn't think he'd get drafted. You try to place all that stuff into everything. Liked Kittle a lot, but was pretty sure he wasn't going to get drafted in the 2nd round, so you don't go draft him in the 2nd round. You try to weigh all that stuff out because you want to get the guys you want, but you'd like to get them as late as possible so you can help your team in other areas.
And the reason you had a sense with Mullens is just because he didn't fit that prototypical height, weight, speed, velocity thing, or why did you have a sense with him that he would be?
Just because I've been around the league for a while, and you watch. I mean, you study 30 guys every single year, and you watch. Usually less than 10 of them get drafted. So you got to feel on the type of guys that get drafted, the type of guys that don't. It only takes one. So that's something that you try to play out. I mean, that was the thing that we had with CJ. And I felt pretty strong that CJ wasn't going to get drafted till the 4th round. So we felt pretty good that we could get him right there at the 4th and wanted to wait. And we were getting there, and there was one team we were worried about, and it only takes one team, and you're not sure, and someone offers you something that you don't think is much to trade up 5 spots. I mean, man, I wish we waited 5 spots and kept whatever that 7th rounder was 2 years later or something. But, man, I wouldn't have if he went in those 4 picks. So that's just the whole thing that you're constantly doing, and that's why every question you guys ask for the whole draft weeks, everything anyone tweets out, that's why there's someone in some room in some building reading every single little comment, trying to decide, are we telling the truth, are we lying, are we ignoring, who do we bring in, because everyone's trying to figure out how do we get who we want as late as possible. So that's why you can go crazy in that time.
Nick's been so good at tempo, getting in and out of the huddle. Did that work against him at all with a kneel down situation where he's just eager to snap the ball?
No, that has to do with, you know, I mean, has he told you guys the exact story?
He said he would never do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal because we won now. It would have been a huge deal, but, you know, you got to measure it out with the time and stuff. We can all add, and I asked someone else to do it in the heat of battle just so I don't mess it up. But it was very easy. We could kneel it out, and on one of the second or I think it was second down, he kneeled it with like 5 seconds instead of at 1, which was first lesson for him to learn. And so when we did that, it went down. You could see on the play clock, it's at 18 seconds, but on the game clock, there's 19. And so you know there's a second that you have to gain there. And we shouldn't have, but he kneeled it like 4 seconds early, so that happened. And we're realizing that when it's third down, and everyone's headsets are off, which I'll never take mine off again. But the headsets are off, and we're all hugging and stuff. And then someone tells me, so I yelled at Nick, "Hey, you need a slow knee," which that's something we go through. It's when you got to step back and kill a second before you take a knee. And I'm yelling it because I'm a little panicked, and Nick, very calm, just hushes me and tells me to chill out. So I'm like, all right, he's got it. And then so he was relaxed, and he snapped it and did exactly what he was supposed to do, did a slow knee, took almost 2 seconds before he did it. The problem was when we were telling him that, he's not thinking much, and you tell him, and he looked right up at the scoreboard, and you can see it on tape. The scoreboard says 3rd and 12. It's 4th and 12, and so he's like, all right, I don't know why Kyle's freaking out. It's a slow knee. I'll do a slow knee, but he snapped it with 5 seconds on the play clock, thinking he was going to be able to do it again on 4th down, but that was 4th down. And so he lost track of the downs. And just like Tom Brady this week lost track of whether they had a timeout left or not. Like, it does happen, and I wish I was on that so I could have had him go through the whole thing. But it's a good learning lesson for him that you snap it at 1 second no matter what, that you don't pay attention to the scoreboard because they're not always on it, and that your coach should never take his headset off. So I'm going to try not to unless we're up at the lot.
When the Broncos ran their last offensive play, were you aware at the time of what had happened in Miami with the Patriots?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Did that go through your mind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a very bad feeling that ended, and we quickly enjoyed, but it was a very bad feeling.
The mic had you mic'd up or whatever saying to Richard Sherman, you're 2 away from free safety.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on what exactly 2 away from?
Just losing knowing K1 didn't work out before the game, and that one of our safeties was playing nickel, and so I knew a couple injuries, and we're gonna have to put someone back there. So it was Sherm, and Sherm likes that. This stuff excites him. So I was telling him that it might happen, just 2 away, and he was telling me he was also 2 away a receiver too. So that's what he said back. So that's just us having fun with each other.
Probably 2 away as a punt returner. He's had a punt return almost every year when he was in Seattle. Have you thought about using him as a punt returner before the season end?
No, it sounds like you've been talking to him. You're pumping him up for me. No, we might have to. He's 2 away from everything.
Do you have a random word generator that helps you get chocolate door and X Dragon for your play calls, or is there some fun inspiration there?
No, they all mean something. I can't tell you what those mean, all right, but they relate to the type of plays we're running, and it's not just totally random words. Chocolate had to do with Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, which has to do with the play. That would be obvious, but I can't say it, or you'll know our groupings.
Is there maybe a silly follow-up, but is there an advantage to having something very kind of obscure and distinct to where, okay, I hear chocolate door, I know exactly what that is. It can't be confused for something else.
Yeah, and I think you just try not to make people memorize too much. They got enough stuff going on, stuff changes, and you give a game plan each week, and it's all right to make them memorize 10 new things, but if you have them memorize all this different stuff, then it just can get over. They might get it right there, but in the heat of battle, that they can hesitate and maybe go the wrong way. So you try to get words that sound just like the play that we're trying to do, that one word can tell a lot of people stuff.
Well, what's Contavious Street going to do at practice this week?
He's doing everything. So today we're only doing 2 live periods. The rest is walkthrough. So we'll see him out there. I'm pumped to get him out there today. So he'll get 2 live periods. We'll see how that goes, and we'll adjust based off of that.
Do you know where along the line he'll play?
We're going to put him inside. He'll play a little inside, probably in pass rush situations, and we can put him at big end too. He's been running the card team, so he's not playing our defense. So we're going to put him at all those D-line spots.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.